So before we started recording, there was a thought process of maybe I will lean towards Souths on this one, just because they were so close last week. But I ultimately changed my mind and I have gone with the Raiders, as have yourself.
Yeah, you caught me taking a swig of tea there, you cheeky bugger. There's no denying that the Raiders are thin at the moment. We saw that last week. We said it last week, sorry. The Raiders are thin. But to their credit, they go to the SCG for the first time in 30 plus years and they knock off the arguable premiership favourites. No one saw that coming. Well, no one in their right mind, saw that coming. But even so, that's still only 2 wins in the last 5. But the last 3 losses have been close. 14-6 against Manly, Golden Point loss against Parramatta, 14-20 loss at home against Melbourne. They've been close games. South Sydney made last week look close. They made the scoreline really flatter them, but they have no right to have gone down as 2-point losers. They should have been spanked. It just so happened that Mark Nichols, of all people, decided to spark a comeback, and then Damien Cook nabbed himself a double, screwing us of our multi. Thank you very much, young sir. Still salty about that. The 20-18 loss against Newcastle. I'm not going to lie. In my head, I had Rabbitohs all week. Rabbitohs. And then I look at the team list coming back from work, and a certain Englishman is named in the 21. Mr. Wright, you might know of him. John Bateman. He's a bit of a good player, isn't he?
He is. I had the displeasure of actually coming up against him while he was at West Bowling. At Bradford Dudley Hill, and he's not a nice player to be on the field with if you're not wearing the same colours. So the Raiders, are they potentially rushing Bateman back due to a lack of depth right now? Potentially. Bateman, yes, is not in the fans' good books because he's leaving, but there was a possibility that he'd be leaving. They knew that he'd be leaving in 2022 at very least, but it was a case of he wanted to go home. It works both ways. You see it in the Super League. There's NRL players who plead homesickness, go home, vice versa, but that's by the by right now. So I think that Bateman, if he does play, he always gives his all regardless. He's a frightening competitor. So if he does play, the Raiders definitely, I'd say the Raiders definitely do win just because he lifts. You know, you got the Whitehead, Sutton, Williams, Wigan, Bradford contingent there. I mean, it's going to be close for me. Souths have been very disappointed in their performance last week. If they'd have sparked that comeback 10 minutes earlier, they win that game, hands down. Or alternatively, if they played like that from kickoff, they arguably put 30 points on the night. So I do think it worries me that Souths have a point to prove this week, but they are carrying a few injuries. Roberts is gone for the season. Lowe gone for the season. Campbell Graham does come back in, which it's not often that you see a player get injured and they have a stronger replacement waiting in the wings for him. I do think Campbell Graham is that man. Sirenen comes in for Lowe. Sewer is always good. Burgess was great last week, and he's probably got a bit of a point to prove as well, as he feels like he was robbed of a try. He said, and I quote, "I've seen them given." I tend to agree. I also have seen them given, but those are the 50-50s that even out through the course of a season. So, go figure. The Raiders, however, I lean towards the Raiders just because you can't discredit them for winning last week against the Roosters. And I know that I say that while tipping against Manly, but I think that the Raiders have the win this time round, even with a slightly disjointed spine and a couple injuries. I mean, Valemay comes in on the wing. All Souths have still got their two young wingers in Allen and Jackson Paulo. So, yeah, I'm going to go Raiders. Do I go Raiders 1-12 or 13+ is my big question, though.
Yeah,
Nice.
kind of what I'm looking at the moment right now as well. The safe bet for me is Raiders head-to-head, paying $1.50 at the moment. That's what I'll recommend for punters. I do think if the Raiders win, it will be 1-12. Currently paying $3.10 on Sportsbet for some cheeky value there. If you are looking at it that way, the Raiders this year, when they do win, the highest margin they've won by, having a quick look here again, I can't do math to save my life, is 18. They go 18, 14, 16, 8, 6, 4. So you can make an argument for either way. Their largest loss of the season was 16 against Newcastle. I think you could, because again, this honestly could go either way, make a very strong argument for the try bet of either team by 10 or less, paying $1.91. That's probably where I'm going to put the money on this week, if not Raiders head-to-head. But either team, 10 or less. The last two games that they've played, or the two games they played last year, were decided by 6 or less, if you want to be really frisky. But, yeah, either team 10 or less is looking the goods for me.
Okay, then. So, yeah, I'm gonna go Raiders 1-12. And if I looked at that lineup and saw one player to score, I'm going to go Jack Whiten for me. So Jack Whiten anytime, Raiders 1-12. That's how I lean on that one. I'm not going to touch the points over under just because this is such an unpredictable 50-50. So that's where I go with that one. And with that, we move to the next game.